everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, guys, wow, we've got some baseball on the Twitter feed, on Instagram, all over social media. We are seeing Blue Jays and other MLB teams report for pitchers and catchers, and it is looking awesome. We've got some updates with the Blue Jays, especially Mr. Alek Manoah, who's on the thumbnail and in the title. He looks absolutely incredible. We're going to talk about it. Maybe we're going to over-exaggerate, but let's get into the topic, guys. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And honestly, guys, I have respect for anybody that was capable of going to work today and, actually accomplishing anything at all. Because as far as I was concerned, I was just on Twitter going through everything. Like Hazel May, shout out to Hazel May, for just popping off today. She was incredible. She's always incredible, but she was especially incredible today. Hazel May took a video of every single Toronto Blue Jay player showing up. And I mean, we're talking about grown men here, just walking. You know, these are 10 to 15 second long videos. Grown men walking with their coffee or, their drink or whatever they have, just walking to work. There must have been 15 to 20 of those.
Yeah.
I watched every single goddamn video of these Toronto Blue Jays players just walking into the building, man.
Yeah, it's like basketball, when you see them walking in, what's their fit looking like? How are they looking? How are they feeling? We get a little glimpse of their everyday life heading into the ballpark, right? And into the facilities. I loved it. Shout out to Hazel May. She also got some really cool videos that we're going to show you guys a little bit later. Like Dalton Varsho swinging the bat, which we all know we want to see. And Kevin Kiermaier swinging the bat. He promises to have a big power year.
Right.
Dude, if he somehow comes out of a big power year and actually delivers on his promise, like he delivered on being the best ninth hitter in baseball, damn, okay, KK, you want to sign for life?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Alek Manoah is getting all the headlines right now because just the physical transformation that he has made, it is nothing short of incredible, folks. And we're going to take a look at that momentarily. But honestly, all of the Toronto Blue Jays players, and we're just seeing them through a screen, from far away, but they all look to me to be in pretty damn good shape, dude. They all look ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to say oh my God, yay, these guys are in shape, because that's kind of their job. You know what I mean? It should be. But we have seen in the past where guys show up to spring training and they're not in shape, and we've obviously seen a few people do that. But it's good to see everybody's on the same boat. We didn't get to see Vladdy today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We didn't get to see Kirk's today, although it was catcher's report.
I saw Kirk.
Oh, you saw Kirk?
I think so. Yeah, okay. He looks good.
Well, how do you think he looks good?
Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Kind of across the board, it was people were looking nice today. Just Toronto Blue Jays. So I feel the atmosphere here was, we didn't do enough last season. Let's put in the work this offseason and let's get after it.
That's what's up.
With all that being said, let's take a look at the king, Alek Manoah, folks. There were so many different clips coming out today. Here is the first one, but first a quick shout out to Battlegrounds, everybody. Yeah. If you guys haven't already, go to Battlegrounds, the perfect place to throw some axes, just have some fun, take your loved ones. I know Valentine's Day just happened yesterday. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, but if you're looking for a date, place, or anything, that's your place to go. Alek Manoah, this is him throwing. Keegan Matheson, shout out to him for taking this video. He looks good, man.
Yeah.
He looks the body looks good.
That's what we're pointing out here, the body, right? I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on this offseason about him going to the gym, training, trimming up, getting into shape, and you'll see some other photos that we're going to flash to. He does look really good, right? Over here. It's just simply just him doing some exercise, doing some training up against the wall, throwing the ball off the wall, getting his arm loose, right? But this is what you like to see. This is what you like to see, and this is what you hope to expect. Now, does this necessarily mean that he's going to come out and he's going to throw a low 3 or a high 2 ERA? No, we still got to wait for those results, but he did the right thing this offseason, got into shape, and hopefully, we don't know this because he won't admit it on day one, hopefully he's healthy and ready to go for spring training.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the step one on what is going to be a long road to, back, really. He took a massive fall off last offseason. We were at the tippity top when it comes to just the MLB as a whole. People looked at you as being the guy, and the fall that you had to go from that place to then being sent back to the minors, 2 times. Like, it was drastic. So there is going to be a long road here to get back to that place and to earn that respect back from not only just everybody in the organization and Toronto Blue Jays fans, but also opposing teams, right? Like, you want to instill fear into the New York Yankees, into the Baltimore Orioles when they're facing you. They go, oh shit, we got to deal with Slim King Alek Manoah right here. Like, they don't want to deal with that. And it is going to take a while to get to that place. So I know that there's been a lot of overreactions. Like, especially I was kind of overreacting a lot on Twitter. Like, I am dangerously close to putting an absurd amount of money on Alek Manoah to win Cy Young just off of the body. But this is that first step, and I'm so happy that he is, like, jumping into it right
Look,
now.
if he can get back to where he was in 2022, and I saw a lot of people with a lot of 2022 vibes going around Twitter like, oh, he looks really good, because essentially last year the rumor was, and it was actually broke by Scott Mitchell, who actually broke it again this time, but the rumor was he was up 30 pounds from last spring training. Now, apparently, he looks to be down 30 pounds. So if he's going backwards to where he was in 2022, I mean, that's a good place to be at. And hopefully, he's getting older, obviously. He's starting to get that man body going, the man muscles. And hopefully everything's coming together. Another year in the league. You had your fall. Hopefully you learn from that, right? Going and getting set down to the FCL is not a cute thing. There's been a lot of probably embarrassment on his part. So going back and learning what not to do from last year, and also getting into shape, these things could all come together to have him, make him have a really good season.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. And I also want to just credit right now or acknowledge what's going on with his face. You see that? I'm seeing a lot of teeth. I'm seeing a lot of optimism right now. That was something that, in the second half of last season, I just feel like I didn't really see Alek Manoah smile a whole lot.
I saw a lot of sweat and sad.
100%.
Sweat and sad.
100%, dude. And I mean, this is just a real thing in life, that when you go to the gym and when you're putting in the work and, you get in a good workout, you drop a few pounds, that boosts the confidence, which makes you feel better about yourself. And it turns into this cyclical thing where it's like, you're feeling good, you're performing better, it snowballs, and I really do think that Manoah, from what I've seen, and again, I know this is an overreaction, we still haven't really seen him throw a ball in a game situation, but the body's there, and it seems to be anyways that the mental might also be there too.
Yeah, well, here's a little insight on his mental. I don't have the quote up here, but Keegan Matheson, again, shout out to him. He said a quote after Alek Manoah threw his session today. He said, when you get your butt kicked, you want to start fresh with a new slate. I'm super excited for the boys this year, and I'm super excited to help this year. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what he's going to say, of course. But you got to hope that we got to see what his mental state is like after an outing or two. You know what I mean? Because if he gets beat up, is he going to keep that mental state? That's going to be something to keep an eye on this spring training.
Well, yeah, of course, dude. I would wager a bet that he is going to, because, I mean, you're talking about a dude who got the absolute shit kicked out of him almost every start last year, right? So I feel like he knows what it is at this point to battle through that adversity, and he is trying to fight back as much as he can. I would hope that, through his time now in the MLB and through his time just being a baseball player, that he recognizes he's doing everything he can. There is going to be some ups and downs, but I'm wagering that there's going to be more ups this year than there was last year.
Pretty hard to get more down than you were last year.
100%,
if you did what you did last year, then there's another issue going on that we need to find out.
Of course, dude. And I mean, obviously, you mentioned it before, but like health is definitely a big thing. We're not privy to that. But it looks to me, the way that he's moving his arm around, I mean, in that one Hazel May thing, like it felt like his arm just like detached from his body for a second, and then he just locked it back in, but it was like we were so loose that like everything was good to go.
Dude, I'm actually picturing him dislocating his shoulder every throw. No, guys, I'm good.
Bro, like
whatever works.
Whatever works, man. Like whatever works for you. But the point being, like, this guy looks flexible as hell right now, and he looks to be in the best shape that I've seen him in years. So the hype is real around Alek Manoah.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, in the comments, let us know your predictions for Alek Manoah, and in the live chat as well. What kind of ERA do you have him going at? I know we were doing some predictions preseason a few months ago.
I'm higher than I'm lower, than where I was.
Yeah, I think I've changed my mind because, I mean, I'm seeing the results now.
Totally.
Of course it's going to change, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was thinking that this guy was going to potentially throw for, 4.3, 4.4 or something. Yeah. And once again, I do want to, make it very clear, we still haven't seen him face live batters right now. So, but then, if he does come out and he does get roughed up, like maybe that'll shift again. But just from what we're seeing right now, with the optimism that it looks like he has and the way that he's approaching this thing, like, I'm thinking that ERA might be below 4.
Look, we're going to try our best to get live for the first Alek Manoah start. I feel like that one's got to be a must-watch in spring training. You know, we got to get a good look at what this guy's offering.
100%, dude. Yeah, that's going to be huge for the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward as well because, like, everyone, too, because did you hear what Pete Walker was saying?
A little bit.
Effectively, Pete Walker came out and said, like, he is so back on Alek Manoah. Like,
really?
He's like over the moon
Pete.
on this guy. So, like, it feels like the entire management as well is kind of coming around to him. And, you know, because, again, last year, that wasn't the case. You know, they weren't coming out and saying that. In fact, it was quite the opposite. It felt the relationship was kind of fractured. But it feels like right now, anyways, the coaching staff and everybody is truly seeing the work that he's putting in and believing that he is going to be all the way back.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we got a few people with some predictions here. Danielle, 3.10 ERA. Kevin, 3.55. We already got some optimism. Real Deal Prime with 2.78. A lot of people in the mid-threes. You love to see it. Also, quick shout-out. We got a dono over here from Fatty McBeans.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fatty McBeans.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's only day one of spring training. I want to see him face live MLB hitters. Yep. You know what? That does need to be the caveat, folks. We should really just put something down here like warning, overreaction incoming. You know, first day of spring training. You're so right, dude.
Yes.
But I still feel good. I still feel good.
Feel better than what actually, I did feel a lot better last year because I didn't know what was coming.
Right.
You know, because I was like, damn, Cy Young 3, this guy's elite. But I feel a lot better than I was September 2023.
Yeah, of course, man. And again, like, this has been a conversation all off season, but if Manoah wants to get back to that place or even do half of what he did in 2022, you are looking at, you know, potentially the best, most lethal rotation in all of baseball, right? We're talking about a rotation that finished in the top 3 last year without this guy.
Right.
Add him back in. Add half of what he was back into that thing. You're looking filthy.
Because I got confidence, full confidence Kevin Gausman's going to give us another kind of Cy Young type of year. I think Bassett's still got another one in the tank. Berrios, I think he's found himself again after like a clunker he did in 2022. I think he's kind of found himself.
He had one blip year, dude, and I think that he's good to go. Like, I was always like a total Berrios lover. That 1 year just felt like super weird. Something was going on with him. He's back.
He's back. And obviously you got to be cautious about Kikuchi because just like Berrios, that was a blip in a good way year for Kikuchi. So I feel like you got a solid 3, and if you could add Manoah and hell Kikuchi, if you can do half of what he did last year and give me a low 4, that rotation's nice.
Completely agree. Folks, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like and subscribe button. This is the place to be for your Toronto Blue Jays news, discussion, and content. We're going to be going live for literally the first, the second, maybe even the third spring training game of these Toronto Blue Jays. We're going to be going live for all that stuff, bringing you all the news and discussion. But before we get to that, guys, quick shout out to the sponsor of this video.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody. I'd be curious to know what the betting line is right now on Betway for Alek Manoah to win Cy Young. I was looking at it earlier today. I think it has actually gotten worse in the sense that, like, you're not going to make as much money because people are starting to get high on this guy. So it might be the time right now to smash that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I made a bet. $8 will win me $1,200. I think it's $1,208.
That's a lot of money.
That's actually kind of ridiculous.
That's a lot.
I would spend $8 on a beer, and if you win Cy Young, I'm buying a lot of beers.
I'm buying a lot. Yeah.
I'll
send some to Alek Manoah.
Absolutely.
We do want to get to some more player highlights, some more updates on that front. But before we do that, let's take a look at what GM Ross Atkins had to say. Try your best to just figure out what the fuck this guy is talking about, because I have no idea. He says, at this point, additions that would be of significance would mean some level of subtraction. He added, now it makes more sense operationally for us if we consider an addition that we should be subtracting. So the first... Let me just break down my thought process here. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
That's what I said too. I just couldn't understand.
couldn't figure it out, man. Couldn't figure it out. Still really don't have any idea. But the first part makes sense to me because as we've talked about on this channel, you bring anyone in. So let's just say you bring in Cody Bellinger. There is going to be a subtraction of some point on the team that you currently have, right? You just have to get rid of somebody, maybe trade someone away. That's him. And then also, obviously, if you did make a trade, there's going to be some level of subtraction there.
Right.
The second sentence, no idea.
Now it makes more sense operationally for us if we consider an addition with that, we should be subtracting. Well, I think he's kind of just repeating the fact that, okay, if you have to make an addition, you subtract. But he just said it in a different way.
Right.
You know, that like just kind of confusing. I think, to be fair, I think Ross Atkins, he didn't have the greatest offseason, of course. He's got a lot of heat right now. I think he's just, and you'll see it in the next quote, he's kind of saying stuff to save face and just say the right thing. So I think he just kind of doubled down on that to try and sound good.
Right.
But essentially, yeah, I mean, if you are going to get rid of anybody on this team, like, who is the guy at the bottom of the barrel for the Blue Jays roster right now? It's Santiago Espinal now, right? So that's a guy who's been on the Major League roster for a while. So, yeah, you have to subtract someone who's been a pretty good part of your team for the last 3 years, 4 years, to make that addition. Which, I mean, it could come in a form of a trade because Espinal's been kind of talked about as that trade candidate. If you did want to dump him, add that kind of like waiver minor leaguer guy to burn his options through and like have someone kind of rotate through the 26 man, then yes, sending Espinal away would be a great way to maybe do that. But I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on just like even adding anybody at this point?
Well, my thoughts on just Ross Atkins as a whole is that this guy is crazy, man. Like the way that he is capable of answering a question and kind of answering it, but also saying absolutely nothing at all.
It's incredible.
It truly is a talent, man. Because that was also in response, folks, to somebody asking him, you know, are you going to be making any more moves this offseason, right? And effectively what he responded with was just the process of what it would be to make the move, but not actually say whether or not he is or isn't. So,
politician move right there.
100%, dude.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I completely, like, you know, some politician gets asked a pretty hard question. It's like, I empathize with all the people, and we're going to make Canada better or something.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what?
I will also say, to answer your question there about, like, do I think, you know, they're going to make any more moves or whatever? At this point, it feels like a no, because, again, like, for the little that Ross Atkins does say, in the past, he has come out and said that they are actively looking. And I think that by him effectively saying, well, you know, by adding, we're actually going to be subtracting, and blah, 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 that's the process. It's really him saying, if it's there and if it's perfect, like if it is, if it falls into our lap, then we'll do it. But I don't think that they're actively out there, like, really looking right now.
I could see that answer also saying, like, hey, guys, I'm just going to show you that why we can't make another move. Because if he comes out here and says, no, like, we can't do anything, because, like, everyone would kind of get on him. But if he comes out here and says, well, you have to understand that it's a process of adding and subtracting. And like, so in that way, I could see him kind of saving, you know, face in that regard.
Yeah, he's just doing his best to say literally nothing at all. Yeah. But I would, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet that this is your roster right now. I think that these are going to be your guys, and if there is anybody else, I just don't see it being at the caliber of somebody to get super excited about.
It's a minor league pitcher. I mean, like, you can always use more pitching. You always see it happening. Even the best teams get minor league pitchers. That's it.
Yeah, I think the only reason that they're actually having this conversation, too, is just the level of talent that is still out there on the market.
It's a whole MLB team that could win 90 games out there.
Totally.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, you still have the Cy Young pitcher in Blake Snell. You still got Cody Bellinger. You still got Matt Chapman. You still have multiple dudes who are available right now. Like, it is actually crazy how this offseason has went down. Like, really, this one needs to be kind of studied. Yeah. That's a complete other podcast, complete other breakdown, but just a wild turn of events.
Like, did Ohtani have something to do with it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I also think, okay, we're kind of getting off topic here, but I also think, too, that a lot of those players, there's just, like, they're good, but there's something wrong with them. Like, Blake Snell wins Cy Young, walks almost the most batters in MLB at the same time. Cody Bellinger, great year. 3 years of terrible before that. Matt Chapman, exceptional defense. Can he swing a baseball bat? We don't know. You know, like there's so much like uncertainty around them, and they all want like $200+ million. So I feel like that is definitely playing into it. Shout out to Fatty McBeans again with another dono, $6.99, saying sign Bauer for the league minimum. He will push the other starters, and it is low risk. Dude, I don't know what the hell's going on with Trevor Bauer. He was on a podcast the other day actually just begging to come into the MLB. And I did see, I think it was Spencer on Twitter. who tweeted this out. And effectively he said, bro, the Cy Young doesn't even have a job yet. Yeah. You're not getting one.
Yeah, for real.
So I think it's just one of those.
I don't know. I just see the Bauer situation as like there's too many people that just like do not like him.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that do like him. There are a lot of people out there that like him, a lot of people that don't like him. There's just too much controversy for him to be finding himself on a roster.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. It is tough out there. I mean, it's even tough for guys who were literally great at baseball.
Cy Young, like you said. So. You're like, come on. Why is it Blake Snell's side? You know, that's a whole other topic where I think they're just waiting right now. We're going to talk to Jimmy Ballcap Sports on his channel a little later about this, but like, you know, what the hell? Like, why are these guys not going off the board? Are they waiting for injuries right now? Like, why is no one jumping at the bit to get like Blake Snell?
I really do think it's the uncertainty, man. It's just like somehow this guy won Cy Young, but walked like so many people.
Right,
you know? And just people don't want to pay him.
And they don't want to get the money, right?
It's a whole thing, guys.
Right.
Let's take a look at what Ross Atkins finished with. Hazel May tweeted this out. She says, asked Ross Atkins whether he accomplished what was needed to improve the offense.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy.
This is my favorite one.
I'm excited. This is Ross Atkins. I'm excited about this team. This group feel like the additions, players coming back, changes we've made to our process to better support players on the run scoring side puts us in strong position. Okay, let me just really dissect what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, so, he's doing the political thing. I'm excited, saying his thing. He's saying that he loves the players on the team currently that are coming back, and he believes the changes made to the process to better support players, maybe some of the coaching changes, maybe there's behind the scene facility things we don't know about, but apparently all of that puts us in a strong position. So are you just saying that the changes you've made to your process puts you in a stronger position to support? Remember the whole thing about we just got to support them, and we're kind of joking about that?
Yeah.
So he's kind of doubling down on the supporting role.
Yeah.
We got to support these guys, and we did it. We're supporting them. What does this mean? That's what I take it as. Another kind of political statement.
This is just Ross Atkins to a T, bro. I think that it's effectively just him saying that, trying to cover his butt up and say, like, we did enough. He's excited about it. Granted, like, watching these guys, I'm excited about it too. Kind of for the first time this entire offseason, maybe I even understand the reasoning, because if I see Alek Manoah looking the way that he's looking, and I'm Ross Atkins, I'm going, well, guess we don't need any more pitchers. Like, we're good, So maybe he is just truly excited about our players, and the way that they're entering training camp, I will give him that level of credit.
However, I will say, I think we didn't do enough, and I wonder if he knows in the back of his mind. He's got to know that in the back of his mind, he didn't go out and have the offseason that he wanted.
No, of course.
And he's never going to go out and admit it to Blue Jays fans. You never will.
Well, the closest that we got was him saying that he was disappointed about Ohtani.
That's it.
That's like the one moment where you saw a little bit of true vulnerability from Ross Atkins, saying like, I was disappointed there, guys.
I want more vulnerability from my GM. I'm serious. Like, I want my GM to be like me. Like, no! Yeah. Damn it, Ohtani! Even though it would totally ruin every negotiation process or whatever, all the little details. I just think it would be hilarious.
I love the open book aspect.
Yeah.
That's Ross Atkins' feeling about the team, folks. You guys let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about this offseason? I will say that we are probably officially done. We are out of the whole offseason. We're out of the whole Jays rumor signing, trade, this, whatever. We are now at baseball land. And with that being said, let's take a look at some of our boys swinging the wood around. Springer and Donnie Baseball digging that KK swing. Oh, okay.
No,
I thought we were going to go bang.
This one right here, though, he launches one. Now I got to see a side-by-side of him last year. For those who are watching or listening on the audio podcast, we're looking at KK swinging, George looking on, Donnie looking on. They're loving it. They're cheering him on. I got to see the side-by-side because he said when he came back to the Blue Jays, Kevin Kiermaier, that he was going to be a much better hitter, right? Much better offensively, get some more power into his game. Like, I loved his game last year. If he did exactly what he did last year, I wouldn't blame him at all. I'd say thank you, KK, for your service. But if he can launch, like, somehow 10 more home runs, getting close to 20, he hits like 15 to 20, dude, like, what did you do to change that swing? Because that's why I want to see the side by side. Like, he looks like he's leaning back a bit more, getting more geared up in that back leg. But I want to see someone break it down like a Joe Siddle. I want to see that guy break it down.
100%, dude. And those are absolutely coming. All we know right now is, first off, he looks to be in great shape. He's always been in great shape.
Yeah.
But, he still looks like he's in great shape. And 2, his main focus this offseason was he wants to inject more power into his game. So hopefully that is transpiring. It looks to be the George Springer. And I just see, you see that little head nod from Donnie Baseball? Head nod from Donnie Baseball in approval of what's going on.
Right. Remember, guys, Donnie Baseball, he's going to be more in on the conversations with the offensive players this year, right? He's kind of, if I'm not mistaken, he's the offensive coordinator for the Blue Jays, calling plays out there on the baseball diamond. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do and talk about with these players.
Yeah, speaking of an outfielder who's looking to potentially add a little bit more pop.
We're going to start with a hug here.
Take a look at Dalton. Oh, yeah. Hey, coming in.
Nice hug.
Love you too, buddy. Love you too.
God, I love
Would love a few more home runs from you this year as well.
All right.
Here he is. Bang.
Dalton Varsho.
Looks good. I did see I forget who it was tweeted out, but there is absolutely, and I'm forgetting what it was. There is absolutely a difference in his swing from this year, or from last year, excuse me, to this year. There has been a change. I wish that I could break down for you guys.
See the side by side.
I forget what it was. Somebody was tweeting it out. But honestly, I'm just happy that they are in fact making chases. I
could be wrong. It looks like his hands are a bit higher, if I'm not mistaken. I thought last year maybe his hands were a bit lower. I could be wrong about this, but I mean, if it's higher, that's nicer. I mean, if he gets more downward swing, maybe a little bit more backspin. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see a side by side. Joe Siddle, my guy.
Where you at?
Where are you at, my man? I want to see a breakdown, my dude.
We were talking about Dalton Varsho the other day, folks, and I mean, this guy just feels like, I don't want to say that he is the missing key here or anything like that, but if you could get him be what he was when you traded for him, which was a 27 homer guy, that is just so massive. And at the Rogers Center, right, where that left field fence is lower, it's just made for you to pull that baseball and annihilate it over the fence, right? When you were first coming here, Dalton Varsho, the talk was 30 plus. And I'm not saying that we're automatically going to get there, but clearly, and I think he knows it, he's unhappy with the season that he had offensively last year. And he is going to be making a change, so I hope that it's for the better.
And you know what? I feel bad about ripping into Varsho a lot last year, calling him no-show. And, in the heat of the moment, like, it felt appropriate, of course. But looking back, I'm like, damn, like, this guy got traded. He's trying to make a good impression. And all the players on the Blue Jays stand up for this guy. Like, he's a really great guy. I mean, this guy, I've seen 2 hug videos from him already.
Yeah.
2! That's crazy. This guy's a lovable dude. So I am rooting for him. I'm removing all the hate. I'm rooting for you, bro. You got like 2 more years. I thought he maybe had 3 more years left. I thought his arbitration went to 4, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we got multiple years left with Dalton Varsho. And I'm rooting for this guy to really hit those bombs.
Dude, realistically, I think that a lot of the ribbing was coming off of the fact that people still had that deep connection to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and to Gabriel Moreno. And, both of those guys started doing incredibly. And it's one of those things, where, like, you have this connection, you have this personal connection with especially Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was on this team for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then you trade him and you get somebody back, and it's like you need that guy to make you forget about them. That didn't really happen.
Because if you were to sign this guy just like a free agent 1 year, and I don't know, you got a great deal that you got off him, and you're only paying him a little bit amount of money, you'd be like, all right, whatever. You wouldn't even think about this guy, dude. He's just a guy. But because you're right, because you had to give up assets. Now we're comparing the deal, especially when the Arizona Diamondbacks are doing as well as they did. But now it's gone. We don't, Lourdes, he's a Diamondback for a long time now. Same with Gabriel Moreno. Let's stop talking about the deal. Let's support our boy here.
100%, dude. 100%. Dalton Varsho is the freaking guy. I want to talk a little bit about Bowden Francis, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Bowden Francis is apparently looking like he is worked out to be a starter. And his final role is TBD right now, courtesy of Scott Mitchell. He was the one tweeting this out. I was looking at Bowden Francis the other day, just his statistics. He was like sneaky good.
He was really good.
He was sneaky good. And I understand that a lot of the times that he came in for the Toronto Blue Jays, it was low leverage situations. It was pretty much when the game was already said and done.
And he was only like when there was a spot available on the roster. He was kind of going back and forth between AAA.
Yeah. But he did have just over 30 innings last year with an ERA under 2. And again, I understand there was a lot of things that you can kind of point at and being like, well, that was to his favor and whatever. But still, ERA under 2, shortened sample size, got me a little excited about what Bowden Francis could potentially do down the stretch.
For sure. I would put Bowden, just because you got a big, hierarchy list right now with all the starting pitchers. I'd put him in the same boat as a Yariel Rodriguez, where he's going to be competing for maybe a long man out of the pen. He has experience coming out of the pen. Long man out of the pen, a backup starter if you need to be. Because if Yariel takes a while, and God forbid we have an injury early on in the season in that rotation, Bowden Francis is going to be that guy to come up and replace him right away. Because if they want Yariel to get back up to speed a little bit, he hasn't played in a year. He took the entire year off of 2023 to go and become an MLB player. So that's kind of where I see him as, and it doesn't hurt to have a great quality player down in your system.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, I feel like bullpen is just the most volatile thing in all of baseball, right? Like, your bullpen can be incredible one year, and then it can just, totally fall off the cliff next, right? And it's because being in a position where you do have shortened sample sizes, right? One year, the stats are going to look incredible, and then the next, maybe it's just not, the ball's just not falling where you need it to, right? So, I think that it's always better to have depth in that position, and what he did last year, it's not going unnoticed anymore. And the fact that they're working him out as a starter just gives them more options in case something bad happens.
Yeah, agreed. Guys, we have one more final piece of news. Not something to get too worked up over, but Keegan Matheson did come out today and say Cavan Biggio has left shoulder tendonitis. Says Schneider. This is quoting Schneider. Sounds like more of a mid-February precaution, but he's not live hitting just yet on the field. So just something to note. You know, I don't know if this is going to linger. I'm not too familiar with tendonitis. I am not a doctor. I actually had tendonitis in my knee, and it was just more of a bother, more of a sore that kind of happened. I had a very mild case of it, but just something to monitor moving forward. Thank God we didn't end up like the Orioles today, who had a crap ton of injuries. A crap ton. Unfortunate for them. Somewhat good for the competitiveness of baseball.
Well, you're never going to wish injuries on anybody, but when they happen, right, you're going to note them and be okay. I mean, Orioles are a big competitor for us, and if they're going to start the season really injured, that obviously sucks for them, but that just means all the more reason for the Toronto Blue Jays to get off to a hot lead and potentially get some games on them,
Dude, look at the New York Yankees last year. They were hurt a lot, and they missed playoffs.
Totally.
One injury bug could ruin your entire season. So, it's starting in the Orioles camp. There's a flu going around, but you never know. They could get healthy and be back.
Yeah, and in terms of, as far as Cavan Biggio goes, I mean, it's just one of those things, like you said, probably pretty small, probably not going to mean anything, but, keep him out as long as possible, because it is those tiny little things that over 162 games that you're going to start to feel come game 70, and then it's going to be on and off and on and off the IR, something that we don't want. Even though we do have David Schneider, who, might I add, going to be doing a lot more outfield stuff, is what I've been hearing. They're really practicing the outfield, so it kind of feels like, I think somebody was making the Whit Merrifield comparison with him. Kind of interesting there, man. I'm down for it. A little bit more pop than Whit Merrifield, a little bit potentially more upside than him too. So I'm all here for it as far as Babe Schneider goes.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to Biggio and David Schneider, I mean, hell, you put Cavan Biggio down on the bench for a week or two, you're not gonna feel the impact unless Biggio's somehow popping off right in the early going. You're not gonna feel the impact right away because, again, you have David Schneider, you have Espinal, and I think we're gonna be okay. But now if that injury happens in a more bigger position like a first base or a shortstop, right? You're gonna feel that a bit more.
Yeah, of course, man. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below about literally everything that we talked about today. Exciting first day of camp for the Toronto Blue Jays. We are less than 10 days away from the first game of actual spring training, which we are going to be live for on this channel, calling every pitch, calling every play. It's going to be phenomenal, guys. So it's where you want to be.
Yeah, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And as always, guys,
go Jays, go!